I turned away for literally a week or two, or more like 5, and the young prospect who was seemingly the most likely candidate for the title has had the biggest blunder in history of all modern F1. Yeah. All of that simply because I had a few little errands to run in coastal Albania near Durrës. I'll spare you the details, but let's just say I still can't afford a ticket to the British GP next year, so I'm officially calling off the meet and greet, lads. We'll just have to wait another year. But in all honesty, I'm confused. Confused beyond belief. Like, literally, a few races ago, I think it was after the Dutch GP, I was so certain the championship was done and dusted with Lando's hopes and dreams going up in smoke. Literally. I thought it was over. So much so I had began archiving all my best bits and one-liners I had prepared for the Papaya rivalry. I even started covering old seasons of DTS and F1 Academy out of sheer desperation. I know. Look how far I've fallen. But despite my best efforts, here I am, being forced back to covering the latest season as literally the unimaginable has happened. The strongest and fiercest and seemingly untouchable Aussie has crumbled under pressure. How has the lad managed to chuck a Yui? What could be the underlying reasons behind the defeat of this tall puppy? What could be the bamboo skeletons in this closet causing this? How the reincarnation of the Iceman himself managed to melt away his efforts of becoming the first kangaroo-chasing world champion in almost 50 years. Okay, I promise that was the last Piastri pun you're going to have to bear. Sorry. And to start with, we have to, of course, talk about why Piastri is so damn good. Honestly, I've talked about this point so many times already, you must think I am the founding member of the Team Piastri 81 fan page on Instagram by now. But luckily, you lot are even bigger fangirls of the cunt than I am, so it only works in my favour. Also, you best believe I'm not fucking Hungarian, am I? If I was spoon-fed goulash since I was 3, my content would be way less PG. But if I break it down a little bit, I think we can all agree that Oscar is a bloody miracle child when it comes to F1. Yeah, let's just limit it to that, because I can't comment on any of his other character traits. And judging by the boots his girlfriend's wearing, it seems he's got himself a Swiftie. So, can't say anything good about his ability to read people. But when it comes to racetracks, he's amazing. He's got better insight than Paul the Octopus. And that guy predicted half the fucking football championship, innit? Could have made so much money if I just trusted him. Oh, shit. Look at that picture. She looks like fucking Jimmy Neutron in a dress. And of course, I've covered his many great strengths already in my previous episodes on him, so I'll try not to repeat myself too much in the interest of time. Despite me really wanting to prolong this video for as long as I possibly could by adding words, sentences, and at times even whole lengthy paragraphs, of course, in order to make sure that I'm able to increase the potential span of time to which I'm henceforth able to add the critical material and solely selfish monetization layer onto my work, so as to make sure that me, myself, and I, as well as my family, is able to earn enough from these videos to buy some chips from the supermarket once a month. But I digress. What I'll do is just focus on 2 aspects that I sincerely think got him within arm's reach of the trophy. So here's the 2. The car and the driver. How fucking revolutionary is that, eh? Let me hop on a fucking plane to Stockholm to make sure I'm there on time to snag my Nobel Prize from Donald Trump. First and foremost, the main reason why Oscar, and for that matter Lando, are where they are is because the car allows them to. Simple as that. Without the staggering performance of the McLaren right from the very beginning of the season, they would not have been able to develop such a gap to the others, securing the constructors already in Singapore. Arguably could have done so even earlier if it wasn't for Oscar the Muppet managing to DNF in Baku. Twice.
Norris in 8th still at least. That is a matter.
Either way, the car has been dominant, absolutely miles ahead of the rest, allowing the drivers to essentially make this a 2-horse race from the beginning onwards. Well, I guess we'll still see about that. If he's got 4 wheels and an engine, you can't really count the Dodge slot out, can you? But generally speaking, this meant the only real competitor to the Aussie was his imperial cousin. Or rather, I guess his lordship. But let's not get bogged down in who colonized who now. The important point is that it's just him against Lando. And what would you say are Lando's main weaknesses? Well, he's a phenomenal talent, arguably one of the brightest when it comes to racecraft. Maybe only behind Max, but that kid was literally bullied into perfection, not really fair to compare. He's very cheeky, he's good looking, beautiful side profile, absolutely luscious curls, a juicy... Sorry, got a bit carried away. The number 1 trait Lando does lack is... come on, you can guess it, just try, mate. It starts with a C. It starts with a C. Constipation. No, constipation. You don't fuck. We're not talking about Lance here. Different video. What I of course mean is consistency. Well, absolutely brilliant. The one thing the lad tends to do is every now and again just completely fuck it all up. Not every race, no. Otherwise, he would have been selected as Max's number 2 because they seem to love that trait over there at the sugar in a can factory. But just enough to open the door for Oscar to take advantage of. And for Oscar, consistency is literally his second name. After demure and phlegmatic, of course. But the majority of you lot have no idea what either of these two selections of letters mean, so I'll just stick to consistent, Make it simple. So in essence, the 2025 McLaren has made Lando and Oscar the only potential contenders for the title this season. And with Oscar just being so much more consistent than the British Muppet, allows him to collect way more points during Lando's occasional flare-ups. So, should be a done deal, no? Well...
It's not that simple.
What?
Firstly, the car has really not been so dominant in recent weeks, has it? Okay, Mexico was a bit of an oddball, with Lando literally plowing out a 2-digit lead by a lap 5 or something, but apart from that, the boys have really struggled. So it seems, at least for the tracks that we've witnessed recently, the one lap speed has not been there at all, qualifying behind the likes of Max, Russell, and even the fucking Ferraris. And if a 40-year-old senior citizen is capable of getting a faster lap time than an Italian sack of bolts with some fresh red paint, there's something off. And then on top of this lack of performance, Oscar's main advantage over his core rival has somehow slowly evaporated. And it all started with that terrible weekend in Baku, where he first put it in the wall during Q3, trying to really get that edge on Lando, and then he lines up at the starting grid and does the least Oscar-like thing ever.
Piastri moves before the lights. Wow, he does by a long way.
But, okay, you'll see everyone jumps the start every now and again, It's fine. This is just a small little hiccup. Well, what ends up happening is Piastri is so distraught about this hiccup that he just ends up smashing all the buttons on the steering wheel and goes into full-out anti-stall, not being able to move an inch even when the lights finally do go out. But okay, he gets going. But this is where the nerves really start to creep in. You realize, fuck, I already was in a shitty position. Now I just lost another 10 spots. I've got the whole fucking grid in front of me. Meanwhile, my main rival's in the same car I am in, so I've got no advantage on him. Also, my car's been particularly weak the past few races, so I don't even have a real advantage on any of these back markers I have in front of me. And even then, I still can't do jack shit because this is a street circuit. It's fucking Baku, so I'm just absolutely fucked now, innit? And the championship's gonna be lost from here on, and it's all because I fucked it up again. Am I not really worthy of the championship? Am I even worthy of being in F1 at all? Is it all the car? Does my girlfriend really look like Jimmy Neutron in a dress? And then you're in the wall on lap 1 because you got 2 in your head about it all. Okay, maybe a bit over-exaggerated, but this is what must be going through his head. It is a lot of pressure the kid's under, and this is the first time we're seeing him really being tested mentally here. Before, he was just the runner-up, the new kid in the team, the one that's super calm on the outside, has nothing to lose, and is showing up against one of the most talented blokes in the sport. Whereas now, all of a sudden, he's in the lead, and any misstep he takes puts him on the back foot. This is tremendous pressure, and despite, Oscar not exhibiting any emotions, ever, he's still human, believe it or not. He still feels it all. He just ends up bottling it all up inside him, and this is the result. Who could have thought that keeping it all to yourself, doing your best to never show any single human emotion, and just not dealing with any of the shit that's handed to you, could backfire? I think we all bought the story that he's just superhuman and is not affected by such trivial things such as us mortals. That is kind of on us for thinking like that. Well, maybe more on you than me. After all, the story of an emotionless Aussie Superman sounds much better as a plot for a clip about a young talent taking over the world than saying he's just a human boy who poorly portrays his emotions. So, I'd say it's fully on you for buying that bullshit from me. Where do we go from here? Well, the cracks in the foundation that have led Piastri to the front of the pack have resulted in pretty piss-poor performance in the past few races and have fully erased his lead in the championships. But, to be honest, that lead was fucking marginal at best, innit? I mean, again, I think you and I, mostly I, had made it out to seem like that 20 or 30 point lead he had was the end of the world with like 1/3 of the races still to go, and saying that it's pretty much done and dusted. So we might as well start looking at Susie's karting league for some actual racing. Thank God I was wrong. So I might have overemphasized the edge he had over Lando. Maybe. Whatever. But either way, the boys are now even Steven. They've won the constructors, so pretty much no team orders can come out of the Clementine pit wall. So No more dramatic interventions from Trump Jr. and his disciples. Arguably, even though I said don't count him out, I'd say Max is largely out of it now with a gap of over 35 points to the lead and only 4 races to go. He really needs to pull some miracles out of his ass to snatch this one. And with Horner gone, I don't think they have the firepower to pull some deals together like they did in 21. Now that's a can of worms, isn't it? So from here on, it is a straight shot, one against the other. And Piastri is technically even back in the runner-up seat after Mexico. You know, the place where he seems to feel much more comfortable. What he needs now is to reset. Just chill the fuck out. Go Bobby up some kangaroos or whatever he does to relax. And just get back to his old self. Because we all know he's got it bloody in him. He just needs to get his fucking head down. And fuck that scrawny kid up. Sorry. I actually have no idea why I got so aggressive there. I don't even know whose side I'm on anymore, to be honest. I really don't. I really don't care anymore, really. As long as the Beaver isn't given a consecutive championship, I'm happy. So, fight it out, you two. But if I start seeing some 2016 Spain nonsense next GP, I will personally come down to whichever Middle Eastern country managed to donate more to Dominicali's personal car collection to host the F1 finale. And I'm going to say some things to both of you, even the Mohawk lad in this bathtub couldn't dream of. And if you don't know who I'm referring to, just be glad you don't. You haven't missed out on much. He's just another unfunny has-been who watched Taxi Driver a few too many times. Anyways, ta mate. See you later. I went on a fucking tangent there, didn't I? At least it was fun. Come on, Piastri. Get your fucking shit together.